interested in being inclusive, a church that loves all our neighbors and has a theology of welcoming all people. Being free to question means we ask questions that we never thought we'd ask in church. Questions that make us uncomfortable. Questions that we don't quite comprehend at all times. Pride celebrates the unique diversity of gender and sexual minorities that we see in our world. Young people these days are very in tune with the idea that gender is so much more sophisticated than the binary idea of male and female. And as a note, if you do not know the history of Pride, I invite you to watch PBS's documentary called The Stonewall Uprising. It is a wonderful history that we all should know. These days, people talk about folks who are non-binary. That is, people who don't readily identify with a particular gender. We add this to our broad understanding of people that celebrate Pride, the LGBTQ community. Oh, Lord. Did we ever think we'd talk about this in church? Oh, but beloved, it is so critical. Even if we are uncomfortable, even if we don't understand, this is important. Some 40% of our kids who live on the streets right now are bounced out of their home because they are LGBTQ kids. A majority of those kids come from Christian homes. LGBT teens are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide, prone to depression, and to drug use. All because they cannot reconcile their family's faith with their identity. Kids are dying from toxic theology that says God is only one way. But how can love show up only in one way? At the heart of our faith, we have this strange understanding of a triune God who is beyond our comprehension. A non-binary God. A God beyond male and female. Isn't it about time that we occupy Christianity, beloved, with an understanding that God is queer too? Isn't it about time that we occupy Christianity with an incomprehensible mystery of diversity instead of toxic certainty? We, as Christ followers, need to see the world through the eyes of younger generations, to listen with curiosity about the world and the culture that they understand. We are invited to stay away from judgment, beloved. I recently heard this wonderful speaker talk about the opposite of judgment being curiosity, so that every time we feel judgment, we flip the script on it and we feel curiosity instead. All of us are invited to take on mentors who are younger than us, to see the culture and the world through their eyes. Ask your grands or your children about their friends who are LGBTQ or about themselves. Now, this is going to be a weird thing to ask them, but ask them about their pronouns. That's right, their pronouns. If you didn't know, that's a thing these days. Some people, like me, use she and her or him and his and feel comfortable doing so. Other people use they, them as their pronouns. Oh, Lord. They, them? I and Jane Austen have used they, them as a singular pronoun. So if it's good enough for Jane, it's good enough for me. The singular use of they, them is nothing new, and yet our choosing to use it for those that don't feel comfortable defining themselves as she or he would mean the world for them. Language, like tradition, needs to be dynamic and not static. What if in our desire for expansive, inclusive language, we use they, them to talk about God, to talk about the Trinity? I don't know about you, but I chant every time I hear he for God. Why not use they? Using they for the Trinity better represents the identity of our God who is community in one, beyond gender. God, they, is the most expansive way for us to express the Trinity who is 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. Singular they for the triune God. We might drive our cousins mad, but I think we would get the point. This morning as we were reading our readings, every time I came to the spirit of truth, I wanted to say they so bad, but I didn't want to lose the punch of the sermon. So there we are. Go back and read those readings with they in them and see how that feels. I know this may be uncomfortable or incomprehensible, but we are not called to comprehend. We are called to compassion. We are called to love and relationship. That is the heart of the Trinity, the mystery, the relationship. It is incomprehensible compassion. Jesus did not say, understand your neighbor. Jesus said, love your neighbor. So while this may be weird or different for us, we are called to love. And as a young person who's non-binary recently said to me, showing up and trying harder is what love looks like. I wonder, beloved, can we show up for this month of June, for this Pride Month? Can we try harder? Can we strive for compassion instead of comprehension? At the heart of our faith is a mystery of compassion. Happy Trinity Sunday, beloved. Happy Pride Month. May we strive for diversity, inclusivity, and compassion in this wild and mysterious world. May we seek to love as they, the Trinity, loves us. Amen.
Amen.